What is up, guys? Rory Plays here, and welcome to the second episode of Live from the Saloon. Now, not much has changed over last week, other than I'm kind of, again, don't really know kind of the format or idea we want with this channel, or with not this channel, with this particular podcast. Kind of sticking with the idea that it's going to be mostly kind of like the ups and downs of the company or how things are going, and then just kind of relevant shit in the news at the moment. So I'm going to stick with that format. I've not really been keeping up with the news at the moment, so there's not going to be a lot of it currently. So unfortunately, it is going to be mostly about the company. So again, this one won't be a really long one. This will be about 15 minutes. The idea is to get to about half an hour. I think by the time that we get the guys around, we're going to start doing hour-long ones. It's because I can riff with them for an hour and it's fine. Me doing it on my own, slightly different situation. So for those who have been wondering, and I know it's been coming up for a while, yes, we are releasing content next week. So next week will be the launch of a bit more content. I actually have some to film tonight and tomorrow night for not next week but the week after. So trying to get to the stage of eventually being 2-3 weeks ahead. That's not including podcasts. Podcasts will be done the week before, preferably the week before, or if not, the week of. For instance, this one is going to be released the next day or within that space. So I will get done quite a few episodes in one hit. Basically, because I'll pick out maybe things that aren't annoying me so much. Basically, the idea is, I want to be up ahead and up on time. As far as things in recent history that I've kind of have been keeping up to date with, now that I think of it, last week's WrestleMania. That was, it was an event, wasn't it? You could definitely tell that different people had a hand in what was going on. I don't fully understand exactly what's happening with the WWE UFC merger. Everyone keeps saying merger, which I've always understood as, they're going to be the one company, but everyone keeps talking about it like it's going to be two different things. So that's not really a merger to my understanding. It is definitely a case of trying to put all your nuts in one basket and make things work. Now, let's be honest, WWE's had needed a hand for a while. As far as, a lot of the storylines are very heavily recycled. This past year, since Triple H has been in charge, I feel like they were getting somewhere. You were getting somewhat fresh content. You don't need to ever go as far as, so far with originality before you start having to rewind on it and redo things. Take a lot of content creators these days. Perfect example, take me. I'm technically copying other people. I'm doing gameplay, I'm doing podcasts, and I'm doing tech reviews. That's copying. A lot of that is already done. Fair enough. Maybe not all in the one channel. And yes, down the track, multiple channels, but I've got to make this one work first. But there will be a channel just for the company. There will be a channel just for gaming. There will be a channel just for podcasts. Maybe even one for each podcast. I don't know that as of yet. But that is something that we have previously discussed. It'd be a case of bouncing back onto the original hopes of having multiple hosts, where then I can trust certain things be done by certain other people. Or at least for originality reasons, I'm keeping it fresh, change it up. And be like, I do 1 week, next person does another week, and so on and so forth. But back to the point that was going on, it's like, so the WrestleMania was, you could definitely tell that Vince was getting his hands back in a small way. Ultimately, the kind of the highs and the lows. Now, there wasn't a lot of matches I was kind of excited for. Yeah, I mean, keeping up to date with the program as much as possible. One thing I was curious about interested in was the Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. It was very obvious to me that they weren't going to give it to Zayn, because by the end of Royal Rumble, they'd already basically made it. It was set. It was going to be Rhodes and Reigns. That wasn't going to change. And there was never any talk of, they might change for WrestleMania. So when they put Zayn in the main event, and then they made it for Montreal, it didn't have screwjob vibes to it, but it definitely had vibes of, this is not going to happen, but we're going to make you believe and get it close. And they did. For a second there, a lot of people believed he was going to get it. And as a fan who maybe doesn't follow the product, or maybe you're taking your kid to the live event, they definitely played it well to making you believe that Sami was going to get the win. After all this time, with the storyline in place, you wanted to see Kevin Owens squash his pride and realize that this guy has never been against you. He's always been pushing himself to be the best form. I mean, Owens had main event opportunities. Sami really never did. So they pushed, and it worked. So they got back on the same page, and then, yes, it was kind of obvious. There was no doubt in anyone's mind that's how it was going to go. I do also believe they're eventually going to split the titles. And I think the first ones are going to go to Street Profits, probably for the Raw titles. I don't think they'll skip to SmackDown. I think that Zayn, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens will stick with SmackDown. On that note as well, Rhodes versus Reigns. A lot of people thought it was going to be Rhodes' way. But you look at specific things they did on their Instagram, and might have done it somewhere else as well. They put up 3 photos or 3 posts at the same time. Reigns, the fact that there are only 4 men above him as far as how long they've held the titles for, and the fact that he is just under 1,000. I think he's going to hit 1,000 and then lose the title. I think make him that marquee to get to 1,000 days. I don't think it's going to piss anyone off. He's at 946 or 7 now. Keep it going for 50 odd more days. That's fine. You can get through 2 events. Rhodes now has Lesnar to deal with. So you've got that split for now, and then you revisit it. Maybe there's some injuries going on. You revisit it. He breaks it down. Reigns gets to go away and go have a well-earned holiday. And then you restart it with Rhodes and Lesnar, unfortunately, for the title to begin with. So that would be entertaining. But yeah, no one saw that coming. The other 2 posts were Bianca being the fact that she's held it from WrestleMania to WrestleMania, and that she is the second longest running, I think, Raw women's title holder. Pretty sure Fabulous Moolah had it for 13 odd years. I'm going to quickly fact check that while I'm on this. And the other one being Gunther. Gunther having the title for... what was it? I think he's like the second longest he's got the title. I don't know what the longest is, but God damn, Fabulous Moolah's Wikipedia photo already looks like hell. Yeah, she looks pissed off. Had a long life though, really good life. Still not showing it fitting longest. That's NWA. We want, okay. Wrestling Federation. This is an 83. Sorry, I just realized I'm kind of broken this a little bit. So yeah, so like I said, she had a very, very fucking long title run. The only issue I ever saw with it was that they were very obvious about it being that she was a terrible person, apparently. And we kind of wish that they didn't do that prior to her death. Like, I think all that came out before she passed. Like, leave it. I think it would have been fine having never brought that up. Okay, so it's not putting in as much as I thought it would. I'm looking up title holders. Okay, so it says here, Fabulous Moolah was the inaugural title holder. Probably not for this company. But this also says NWA. So back when they first started out. But she won it in September 18th, 56. And it recognizes it as one reign. But she holding it for 3,651 days, which is equivalent, I think, like 13 years. Okay, so recognize her reign uninterrupted until 84, as they don't count any reign in between that time, because I guess they didn't own that particular particular branch of it. Okay, so they counted as uninterrupted as she sold her rights to the championship to WWE in 84. So she held it until, it says here, 66. But yeah, Wendy, okay, so yeah, she's counted as the whole thing. As quite a few runs. So she held it for 10,171 days collectively. That's not including a title reign of 16 days for Bet Busha, 23 days for Yukiko Tomo, and I apologize if I'm brutalizing these names, and I'm sure I am, and a 2-day reign for Evelyn Stevens. So these are all live events for NWA back then. The title still exists to this day. It's just known as something different. It's known as still the NWA title, but this particular version of the NWA title is now owned by WWE. They officially didn't have a WWE champion until 84, which was Wendy Richter. So it doesn't say whether she beat her for it or whether she was just the first WWE champion. But the title was then eventually deactivated in 1990 and then relaunched 3 years later. And then deactivated again for 3 years. Once Alundra Blaze, who hilariously won it after the first deactivation, deactivated again when she left WCW, which is the infamous title in the trash can promo. Which obviously back then, like, everyone thought it was like, oh, it's creative. No, it was aggression. Like, it was them being pissy. It was then again vacated for a little bit in November 2001. And then officially Trish Stratus was the first WWE women's champion. And then, yeah, from there it went to Raw, SmackDown, this to that. when it was unified eventually to become the women's championship. So not too shabby. That's not too bad. And then, yeah, like I said, the other one was Gunther being, I think, like the second longest running IC title. I honestly see them leaving it on him for quite some time, but eventually dropping it to Sheamus because I believe that Sheamus is the most deserving. To be honest, if you didn't think Gunther was going to keep it at WrestleMania, it was going to Sheamus. I think Drew was just there for a distraction, just to create a little bit of hilarity, because you even look at the post-match photo that Sheamus put up, and it says, only one word for this, pints. Like, it basically says, like, let's go get a beer. That was a fucking hell of a brawl. So, all in all, and that took a long time for me to get to that point, I think it was a very good event. I don't think everything was a hit. There was definitely a lot of misses. But they were kind of like the grand points where, yeah, definitely the unified over the main events. And then, like I said, a couple of title matches. Back on track, though. Tying this up to an end, we are going to tie this down to next week. I was going to leave it an extra week and apologize to you guys profusely, but I'm not planning on doing that. I, at this point, will be going through and making sure that we have everything up to date on spot and try to be coming 2 weeks ahead of time. I've been doing everything basically like, right, film it, edit it, upload. And it's not been working out for me. So, definitely want to change the scenery. Definitely want to start using this guy to start filming the podcasts. Just as I feel like they'd be a lot better than just what's going on. I mean, you've always got this desk and this background behind me because I don't do anything else anywhere else from my desk because, I'm sure my camera can film, but I ain't figured it out yet. Not the 3000 at least. The 300 I know I can, but the 300 needs to be fixed. And if you've been with the channel for a while, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about with that one. Now, we have a new tech video coming out next week. We have a few videos coming out next week, according to the docket here I'm looking at. We will have the first 2 episodes of the House Flipper series. Now, the House Flipper series is basically I've chosen a house, and I'm kitting out, like, how would I fit out the first Saloon Media Group office in this building, kind of keeping in mind that it's got like bathrooms and facilities and other shit in there that I just would not need, I would not use. So that will all be in there. And so I've got to delete a few things, get rid of some rooms. The upstairs office has basically been sorted out. First episode I deal with clearing it out. Second episode is dealing with the editing room, where I think I in the end posted up 4 editors. I don't think I did 5. I think I just did the 4. Finding desk space to work for that group, that area, was just a fucking nightmare. And the one desk I did get through the workshop thought was great, but it's just not wide enough. So I wanted to give 3 monitors for each desk, for each workspace, and it would have worked great. It fit, but it didn't leave any keyboard room, and it wasn't a case of it was a desk that had a lot of the workshop items you get aren't functional, so you can't actually utilize them. You can create on them, no problem, but you can't utilize them as far as like, oh, they've got drawers that come out. So it was a bit of an issue, but we're working on it. We're trying to figure it out. And yeah, I just picked desks that would work, would leave enough space, and we'll kind of sort it out. The PCs, the monitors don't work, so there won't be a case of like the TV that's in there you can turn on, but the PCs themselves will not turn on. Or PC, like the towers maybe, unless they're different versions. I think they might be workshop items as well. But yeah, so they're all sorted out kind of to how I wanted them, how I think would look good, and how I would try to do it, should that become a reality. The next room will be probably kitting out a server room or maybe knocking out a bathroom. I'm not really sure.
Reception has kind of been, like, everything's kind of been chosen out. So we definitely have facilities. I was going to keep the bathroom, but I'm going to knock the bathroom out and make something else there. But I have a server room, reception, waiting room, which I don't think I'm going to make as big as I did initially. There's an upstairs gaming room that I've got to take out. I've got to change up from a bathroom to that. So that's going to work. I've got 2 balconies for some reason. So I'm thinking of making one like a meeting balcony and one kind of like a, where you would take clients to and kind of have conversations with and stuff like that. Just have like 2 different options for as far as meetings and stuff like that. So, yeah, we've got a lot to work on. And hopefully we can get 2 more episodes out relatively quick. But with that, yeah, so it's basically a case of I go in, get rid of everything in the room, I repaint it, redo windows, walls, anything I need to desperately do. Now, once you see it, you'll understand that, yes, there are a lot of walls in this house. I didn't pick it because of the snow, didn't like it because of the snow. I do have another office space in mind as well. And then either I'll sell that one or I'll make that the B side. So we'll work it out. And go from there. I have a few outdoor setting zones now as well, through using Workshop. So, I mean, because I'm playing the game on Steam, there's a lot of options on there. A lot of really, really fucking talented people have put their minds to it to create these banging parts. Like, I've got a lot of Fallout 4 style elements, like, chairs, beds, countertops, you name it, it's there. Because when I started downloading them, I loved Fallout 4. I still love Fallout 4. It's just that back then I was trying to make a Fallout 4-esque house. So, I definitely have a lot of items that can make themes, themed rooms, and yeah, really kind of hoping to smash it out into a way that I think that I would make out an office. If I ever had the opportunity, which, I mean, fingers crossed I get the opportunity one day. Kind of what I'm going for. But, for now, we're just going to kind of work with what we got and make the best of it. Try to represent what I want this to be in a positive way. But that's going to do us for now. Thank you so much for the support you guys have given me so far in this, I'm still going to say, short amount of time that I've been on this platform. And especially short amount of time that I've actually gotten my shit together. I kind of know the path I want to take. A lot of people have in the past have told me not to keep going this route. Playing video games online is going to die off. And Markiplier and Jacksepticeye have been doing it for years. Not saying I'm up to their level, not. But if they can do it, there's no reason that I should believe 100% that I cannot do this. Always got to have the belief in here and in here. And I've got that. Also, if I can't do this, I don't know what else I'm going to do with the channel. This is what I want to do, make for the channel. It's how I want to do it. Like I said, eventually I will open up different channels for different items of content. Podcast can go on a second channel. It might even be SMG podcast, and then it'll just be all my podcasts on one channel. Who knows? The idea is to start kitting these out so it's not just me behind a webcam. There can be me and a few mates behind a hard cam. And we can start doing something decent. So these are just early days. How things going. We can always change it in time. And yeah, it'd be kind of cool to see the evolution over time. Give it a couple of years, look back on it and be like, hey, we started off behind a webcam at a stationary area. We didn't change any of the background very often. I will eventually, but there's no point just yet. Also, I want to change these shoeboxes and put another one of these 8x but on top. And then shoeboxes won't be a part of the eventual one unless I mount this webcam here to the wall behind me and broaden the view a little bit. Food for the future. So kind of ideas that I can adapt on later. But with all that being said, again, thank you so much for the support you've given me. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also hit the notification bell so that you can see what we come out with almost daily. And yeah, if you want to get a hold of me, all my links will be down below. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.